Hey, my name is Andrew Henry. I know that we met in the first professional advising session or professional supervision session, but a little bit on my background. So, my bachelor's degree is in English, and I graduated from the University of Southern Maine. I taught high school English for 2 years, and then I worked in a TRIO program for students that come from low income backgrounds who are also first generation students. And I'm currently a high school counselor for grades 9 to 12. So the school that I'm currently at was one of the schools that was in my territory while I was a TRIO talent search advisor here in Maine. So it was a familiar face when I was asked to apply in 2020. So that is where I still am, and I love it. It is gonna sound super cliche and totally sugary, sicky sweet, but like I love what I do. It's silly, I know, but I do. It's what keeps me getting up. It's what keeps me not afraid of my drive to work and staying half an hour, 45 minutes past just to talk to staff and be in the building. So it's not to say I don't have good boundaries. I know when it's time to go home. So, but overall, I think it's the work I'm meant to be doing, if that makes sense. So, in terms of the personal qualities I have that make me a good counselor, I think that I'm a really enthusiastic and positive, approachable person. Probably, I'd say my main goal when working with a student is to make them one, make sure that they understand they have my complete, full, and undivided attention, and that they are treated with the exact same amount of respect and decency that every other student in that building gets. Students know when you're fake, and authenticity is the name of the game. They can sniff it out. It's students are not dumb, and they know if you're doing the telemarketer voice is kind of, I guess, is what I would call it. So being authentic is huge to them, and I think that I'm authentically enthusiastic. Probably relentlessly positive. We'll get to that in a minute. But it's really critical to be visible and approachable. And I think that being visible, not just holding up in my office, getting out and about the school, meeting students where they're at, makes me visible and available and approachable to students. So I think that those are probably some pretty strong qualities of mine. In terms of being supervisable, I'm not only open to feedback, I often and regularly encourage it. Part of my everyday regular dialogue and sort of lexicon with staff and students is that I'm constantly asking for feedback or a second opinion, or I invite students, every discussion I ever have with them, I invite them to tell me I'm wrong. If we do something in their schedule, if I'm asking for clarification, if I'm saying, so what I'm hearing is blah, 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 I always end it with, please tell me if I'm wrong. And I'm not just saying that, like, please legitimately tell me if I'm wrong, because I don't get better unless I know what I can correct as well. I say it all the time, all the time. It's critically important to me that students feel comfortable telling adults that they might be off base or they might be off track. Not to a degree, obviously, that becomes problematic, but I think that's what makes me a very supervisable person. I don't typically take feedback personally unless it's meant truly personally, but I do think that it'll aid me in supervision. And in terms of being a challenging supervisee, I kind of touched on that earlier. I do think that sometimes I can be relentlessly positive. It's going to sound like a cliche interview answer where it's like, oh, what's my biggest flaw? It's too nice, too positive. I love students too much. But in this case, it kind of means more than that. I think that sometimes my desire to maintain great relationships with staff and students, maybe even staff in particular, can fog my ability to see through a multi-layered or complicated issue. there's a needs of the many, an uncomfortable needs of the many aspect that comes into play when, not just when you're doing schedules, but like if a student has to take anatomy and it's only offered in one place or at one time, and it conflicts with a healthcare class that is an introduction class that the student is already getting somewhere else, like from their tech program, and they really should be taking anatomy, that other teacher is going to be upset that student can't take their class. Sometimes I might take it personally. Yes, this happened today. But at the end of the day, we're here to make sure that we're doing things that align with what a student's post-high school plan, if they currently have one, is, right? So having them take anatomy at the expense of a few ruffled feathers that teacher, because they're an adult, will inevitably pass through, it's fine by me. But that's not to say that I don't struggle with that. I do. My desire to maintain those relationships sometimes is to a fault. So I have been rambling for like 6 minutes. So if you've made it this far, thank you for coming to my TED Talk.